A happy hello to all my wonderful children out there. Now, today, children, I'm going to dive into my story bag and tell you a couple of stories. Stories which your mummy and daddy used to listen to when they were children. Perhaps they even used to read those stories. Isn't that interesting? Now, these stories are woven around a king and his minister. The king was none other than the mighty Mughal Emperor Akbar, and the minister was a very intelligent and resourceful person by the name of Birbal. Now, by resourceful, I mean someone who always has a solution to the problem. And Akbar, the emperor, he liked to be surrounded by intelligent and witty people. Now, Birbal was intelligent and witty. By witty meaning, those who are amusing, they have a sense of humor, or simply put, when you listen to them, you just end up smiling. So, here are two stories from Akbar and Birbal series. So, the first one is titled The Farmer's Well. So once upon a time, there was a clever man. Clever meaning not in a bad way, but someone who's quick to understand and reasonably intelligent. Okay? So he had a well. A well is a structure, children, from where, you draw water and is generally found in the villages. So this clever man had a well which he sold to a farmer. So the farmer was very happy. He needed the well, and the next day, after buying the well, the farmer went to the well to fetch some water. You naturally would want to fetch water, from a well, because that is the purpose of the well. So the minute he started drawing water out of the well, the clever man stood next to the well and said, "Ho, mister, I have sold you the well, but not the water. So you cannot draw water out of this well." Now the poor man was totally confused. Well, it's like saying that I sold you the house, but not the cupboards inside it. So you can't use the cupboards inside the house. Very perplexing. The farmer didn't know what to do, and with a sad heart, he went to Akbar's court. Now, those days, children, the farmers or the common people, whenever they had any problem which they could not solve, they always went to the king's court. So this poor farmer went to Akbar's court and told about his problem to the king. Now, Akbar, as usual, handed over the case to Birbal. So Birbal heard the entire story from the farmer and said, "Don't worry, my dear friend, your problem will be solved." So the next day, he called the farmer and the clever man to the palace. So there, the clever man who'd sold the well, he said the same statement, "Mr. Birbal, I have sold the well and not the water in the well. So how can he draw water from this well?" Now, on hearing this, Birbal said, "All right, my friend, fair enough. If that is the case, so you have two choices. Either you remove all the water from the well which you have sold to the farmer, because this well is not yours now, or you pay him tax for keeping the water inside the well which now belongs to the farmer." So the minute the clever man heard what Birbal had to say, he realized that he was outwitted, that Birbal had intelligently solved the issue, and the farmer was very happy, and the clever man had no other choice but to bow down and accept the verdict of Birbal. So children, tell me one thing. If you were in place of Birbal, would you have another solution to this problem? Do you think so? And while you are thinking, I'm going to go ahead and narrate the next story, which has been so popular with our grandparents, our parents, and even the children. It is titled Birbal's Khichdi. Now, khichdi is a dish, which your mummy or grandma or papa make it out of dal and rice and water. So it so happened that on one cold winter day, Akbar and Birbal were walking by a lake. It was freezing cold. Akbar just stopped and dipped his finger into the freezing water and he immediately took it out. Ouch! Birbal, this is so freezing cold. I don't think anyone can stand for one night in this freezing cold water. Do you think so? Now, Birbal was witty, as you know this already, and he was always one who took on challenges. He said, "My lord, I am going to find someone who can do it." "Oh, really?" said Akbar. "Great. You get me that someone who can stay the night in this cold water, and I will reward that man with 1,000 gold coins." So Birbal found a poor man who agreed to take the challenge because he needed those 1,000 gold coins. So he went and stood inside the freezing cold lake for full one night. He was guarded by 2 royal guards, who kept a watch that the man was indeed standing in the freezing water. And in the morning, the poor man was taken out from the lake and presented before the king so that he could be suitably rewarded. So the king, he looked at the shivering man and he just asked him a question. Tell me, you young fellow, how did you manage to stand in that freezing water?" So the poor fellow said, out of sheer respect, he said, "My lord, my king, I kept looking at a lamp that was burning at a distance, and so just gazing at that, I spent my entire night." Now, when the Emperor Akbar heard this, he just turned around and told Birbal, "Birbal, this man is not worthy of the gold coins because he cheated. He was getting warmth from the lamp that he kept looking at." Now, the poor man felt so sad and heartbroken. He turned to Birbal for help. Birbal understood. He knew that the king had to be convinced, but there was a way through which he would do it. So what happened the next day? Birbal did not go to the court. So Akbar asked his men, "Where is Birbal?" So everybody said, "He is at home. He is at home cooking some khichdi." "Oh, really? He's taking whole day to cook that khichdi? Let me go and see that." So when Birbal was at his home, he suddenly saw the king standing right next to him and laughing, because Birbal was sitting beside a fire with a pot which was hanging almost 6 feet above the fire. And the king laughed. "Birbal, are you cooking khichdi through the fire which is 6 feet below the pot?" "Birbal, this is impossible, man." So Birbal took the opportunity and said so very quietly, "It is possible, my lord. If a poor man can stay warm by simply looking at a lamp which was burning a mile away, why can't I cook this khichdi the same way?" So Akbar heard Birbal's point and he understood the message that Birbal was trying to convey, and he suitably rewarded the man 1,000 gold coins. So this was Akbar and Birbal and some of their witty stories. Now make sure you also churn out some very interesting and clever stories and tell them to your teacher, your parents, and your grandparents. Till then, bye-bye. See you soon.